Naturally Nude Pajamas, available exclusively at Pajamagram. Sexy, sultry, naturally nude feels just like her soft skin. Even more alluring than lingerie, the texture and touch of these pajamas are so seductive that you'll both love the feel of them. Leave nothing to the imagination with Naturally Nude Pajamas. Order today and Pajamagram will include a free matching Naturally Nude nightie. That's a $75 saving on a best-selling holiday gift. Go to pajamagram.com right now. Best of all, Pajamagram does the wrapping for you with free gift packaging. But you need to order today because last year they sold out before Valentine's Day. Yes, ordering today gets you a free $75 nightie. Go to pajamagram.com right now. That's pajamagram.com to order naturally nude pajamas. Order now.
The Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny.
And we should know, and I assume you saw this, but it's too late to take back your pick.
I can tell you I saw that because I was the one that texted that to you.
Oh, I missed that. I can confirm you texted that to me, and I wrote back, damn, that would be huge. This was an hour and a half ago, in my defense. I've been busy.
Listen and subscribe to The Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny, wherever you listen to podcasts.
The new year is here. Time for a change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand IT field with My Computer Career in just months. Already in IT? Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus, and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
The ESPN New York app is here. Stream all your favorite 98.7 shows and live games. Download it now. WEPN FM, New York.
SportsCenter all night. Kyrie requests a trade out of Brooklyn.
You can ask whatever you want. Go out there and play basketball. You're getting $36.9 million a year. You've been terrific on the basketball court, and we can live this up off the court. But what you want, you ain't getting.
Suns and Celtics headline tonight in the association.
Bridges on the drive, gets to the dotted line, fades and hits from 10 feet away. Mikal Bridges has it cooking.
Plus all the action in the NBA.
Tice fakes the three, almost walked with it, but got rid of it, and healed from the left side, knocks down a three right in front of his old team's bench.
And the latest on the QB carousel in the NFL.
I would say Jimmy Garoppolo going to the Carolina Panthers. Jimmy Garoppolo goes to a very similar, at least foundational surrounding piece that he had in San Francisco.
This is SportsCenter all night.
Ooh, that was hot. Check SportsCenter later for that one.
SportsCenter all night. ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. Chris Sylvester with you. Great to have you along for the ride on this first weekend of February. Lots to run down in the NBA. 8 games on the docket Friday night. We will also check the college hoops scoreboard. Just one top 25 team in action Friday. But other teams on the bubble to touch base with. And the NFL. Oh, the NFL never has a dull moment. It might be Pro Bowl weekend, but lots of chatter on what's to come, especially surrounding quarterbacks in the fast approaching off season. But we start with the latest from Kyrie Irving's camp.
Breaking news, Kyrie Irving has demanded a trade from the Brooklyn Nets.
We saw this summer, he looked around and tried to find a trade. He couldn't find a trade.
How does Kevin Durant feel right now? The Brooklyn Nets are actually in a pretty good spot.
The Brooklyn Nets don't have to do anything. They can just ride this out like they did in the summer.
I really don't understand this, but we never understand what goes on with Kyrie Irving. And here we are again.
A day after the Brooklyn Nets point guard was selected to his 8th All-Star game, he has requested a trade. Now, stop me if you've heard this before. A disgruntled Brooklyn Nets star wants out. It's been a tumultuous ride for the Nets franchise over the past year, from Durant's offseason trade request to the early season firing of Steve Nash to the suspension of Kyrie Irving in early November. Now in early February, with the Nets sitting 11 games over 500 and fourth in the Eastern Conference, Kyrie Irving has asked to be traded ahead of the NBA's trade deadline on Thursday, February 9th. The trade request comes after failing to negotiate terms on a long-term contract extension with the Nets organization. ESPN senior NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski broke the news story Friday afternoon. Then Woj jumped on This Just In to detail Kyrie's wishes to be dealt.
Irving told the Nets that they want to trade. They want to trade ahead of next Thursday. I am told that they did not request specific teams to be traded to. And I think part of this, you saw some comments last week from Irving's agent about wanting a contract extension, a commitment on a new deal. Obviously, he can be a free agent next summer. And I'm told that there were some, conversation about that, but there was not, obviously not an agreement reached on a new deal. And I think what Kyrie Irving is telling Brooklyn is, if he's not traded by the deadline, then he walks for nothing next summer.
Now, Kyrie Irving averaging more than 27 points per game, more than 5 assists per game this season, has been instrumental in keeping the Nets afloat during this recent stretch where Kevin Durant has been sidelined with a knee injury. So did this come as a surprise to the Nets front office? New York Daily News Nets reporter Christian Winfield on Canty and Carlin.
A lot of people are blindsided by what happened today, and then no one was really anticipating it. But when you consider the fact that the trade deadline is only a couple of days away, when you consider how much of a load Kyrie Irving's been carrying, basically on a one-year deal for a team that, with no Kevin, no Ben, this team would really be in no man's land without him right now. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, when you consider everything that we've seen from him over the last few years. Now we've got years worth of sample size here to know that this is the way Kyrie goes about business. I should have known that it was just a little bit too quiet before this all happened, but here we are anyway.
Now, despite all that's happened with Kyrie Irving on and off the floor this season, there do appear to be some suitors out there willing to at least talk to the Brooklyn Nets about making a deal before next Thursday's trade deadline. So what teams are willing to kick the tires? ESPN's Brian Windhorst on NBA Today.
The Clippers have assets that the Nets actually might want. They have players under contract, under control, that if you traded, that might actually get the Nets more interested than an expiring Russell Westbrook contract. Because I don't think that the Lakers can honestly give those second-round picks for Kyrie Irving if he's a possible rental. And that's really the issue here is, do you value him as a rental or do you value him as a player you have to trade and pay? The other teams, I would say, on the very short list, the Dallas Mavericks, who are very desperate to get a star player next to Luka Doncic. Are they desperate enough to roll the dice on Kyrie Irving? I don't have an answer for that yet, but I think that they're a team that people in the league are keeping an eye on, but they almost certainly would want to trade bad contracts. Again, I don't think there's premium assets being offered to the Nets for a guy who is demanding such a potential sizable contract. And the last team I'll mention is the Miami Heat. The trade there would be Kyle Lowry, would be my guess. The issue, again, I'm not sure the Nets are crazy about taking on the $30 million on Kyle Lowry's contract.
Well, you heard the Lakers might be in the mix. Of course, if that were to happen, it would be a reunion for LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, who helped bring a title to Cleveland back in 2016. ESPN NBA analyst Kendrick Perkins on This Just In speculates that Kyrie wants to don the purple and gold.
I don't want to be Captain Obvious here, but I am. I mean, just think about it. Let's not act like Russell Westbrook name is not in trade rumors at the moment, Max. Like, the writing is on the wall. Like, I believe that the Lakers want Kyrie Irving, and I believe that Kyrie Irving want to be with the Lakers. And I mean, like, right now, it's like he pushing the button, and rightfully so. But I will say this. if the Lakers do happen to get their hands on Kyrie Irving with the way that LeBron James and Anthony Davis is playing right now, I mean, if they get Kyrie Irving, I mean, damn, they should be considered to win in the West.
Well, one thing is for sure. Between now and Thursday's NBA trade deadline, expect a lot of jersey swaps on social media, along with all the speculation surrounding Irving and others on the trade block. Well, no question, the Kyrie Irving trade request took center stage in the NBA on Friday, but still a busy night on the floor around the league. 8 games on the docket. And we start in Boston with the Suns and Celtics. Boston, the NBA's best team so far. They trailed by 13 at halftime, but by the time the fourth quarter rolled around, they trailed by just a point until the Suns got cooking again.
And Bridges hustles it into the forecourt. Suns with the ball. Line fades and hits from 10 feet away.
On social media, along with all the speculation surrounding Irving and others on the trade block. Well, no question, the Kyrie Irving trade request took center stage in the NBA on Friday, but still a busy night on the floor around the league. 8 games on the docket. And we start in Boston with the Suns and Celtics. Boston, the NBA's best team so far. They trailed by 13 at halftime, but by the time the fourth quarter rolled around, they trailed by just a point until the Suns got cooking again.
And Bridges hustles it into the forecourt. Suns with the ball as we hit the 3-minute mark. Bridges on the drive, gets to the dotted line, fades and hits from 10 feet away. Mikal Bridges has it cooking. 23 on the night, and he puts the Suns up 10 with under 3 minutes to go.
Arizona Sports 98.7 FM. 2 of Bridges' team high 25 points Friday. DeAndre Ayton was there to clean it up.
Here's Paul splitting the defense, gets into the lane, the runner no good. But DeAndre Ayton there to jam it home on the putback, and the Suns take an 11-point lead with 1:10 to go. DA with 14 on the night, none louder than that too.
Again, Arizona Sports 98.7. 14-10 for the former number 1 overall pick. And Phoenix gets a big win in Boston, 106-94. Suns beat the Celtics. Phoenix has won 7 of 9, starting to figure some things out with Devin Booker's return on the horizon. Blazers at the Wizards Friday night in D.C. Washington led by 18 at halftime. But whatever Chauncey Billups said to his team at the break proved to be inspirational in the final 2 quarters.
To get in, out front for Kuzma, broken up by Watford. Watford the steal. Ahead to Simons. He's alone. He's home. Slam. 2 hands. He's got 33, and that might be the knockout punch. 120-111 Blazers, 1:25 to go.
Rip City Radio, huge night for Anthony Simons, a team-high 33 points. Damian Lillard chipped in with 29. And the Blazers blitzed the Wizards in the second half to come on back and win 124-116. Kings and Pacers from Indiana on Friday. Remember, these 2 franchises connected on last year's biggest midseason trade when Domantas Sabonis and others went west in exchange for a package that was headlined by Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy Hield. Tight game in the fourth quarter on Friday night when the one-time Sacramento King connected on a big shot against his former franchise.
Tice fakes the 3, almost walked with it, but got rid of it, and Hield from the left side knocks down a 3 right in front of his old team's bench.
1 of 5 trays for Hield, 21 points, 10 rebounds for Buddy against Sacramento. Pacers connected on 17 threes Friday night, and they beat the Kings at home 107-104. Well, Salt Lake City will host the NBA's All-Star Weekend a couple weeks from now. Friday night, it hosted the Atlanta Hawks and Utah Jazz, 2 teams in their respective playoff hunts. Late fourth quarter, Hawks up 4 when DeAndre Hunter delivered the dagger.
Trae Young will bring it up and get it across. Trae goes over now to Dejounte Murray.
25 seconds to go in the game. In the corner it goes. DeAndre Hunter for a three. Bang! DeAndre says goodnight, Salt Lake City. The Hawks lead 115-108, and the Jazz will call a time as they flood to the exits here at the Vivint Arena.
Well, Trae Young goes for 27, but how about DeAndre Hunter? He scores 26, and Atlanta beats Utah on the road Friday night. The final score, 115-108. Hey, still to come, some Friday night college hoops to run through, plus the quarterback carousel chatter heats up in and around the NFL. Thanks for staying up with us. This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.
Coming up Monday, Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl week is finally here. We're going to cover all the biggest storylines surrounding the game. Keyshawn J. Willimax, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
This is SportsCenter All Night.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use Closet Box instead? Closet Box is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. Closet Box's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. Closet Box's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. Closet Box has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code Radio50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
The ESPN New York app is here.
Aloha, Nick.
Aloha, guys, but I have downloaded the app, so now I'm a fully app official out here in Hawaii.
Listen in Hawaii. Listen wherever. We don't care. Take us everywhere. Plus, you can download all your favorite 98.7 exclusive podcasts like Game Misconduct, Flight Deck, and Breaking Big Blue. The ESPN New York app. Available now on the App Store and Google Play. Just download the app for instant enjoyment.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-484-5131 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-484-5131. That's 800-484-5131. What do you have to lose? Call 800-484-5131. Again, 800-484-5131.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use Closet Box instead? Closet Box is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. Closet Box's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. Closet Box's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. Closet Box has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code Radio50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
The all-new Weekend Wager comes to 98.7 ESPN on Friday nights at 10 p.m. It's presented by BetMGM Sports. Don't be left out of the action.
This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
You're listening to SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Well, not a ton of college hoops on the docket Friday night. In fact, just one ranked team in action. Number 22, San Diego State hosted Boise State in a matchup between the top two teams in the Mountain West Conference. This a rematch of last season's Mountain West Tournament title game. Now, Boise State won all three meetings over San Diego State last season, but this time they'd have to do it without Marcus Shaver Jr., their starting point guard, averaging more than 13 points per game this season. He would miss Friday's showdown in San Diego with an ankle injury, and the Aztecs came out of the gate swinging. San Diego State up 20 in the final moments of the first half when Nathan Mensah put the cherry on top of a dominant opening 20 minutes for the Aztecs.
9 seconds. Lamont. 6, 5, 4. Into the corner. Underneath. Nathan puts it on. Got it. Got it. With 0-0-0. Oh, what a play. What a pass by Lamont Butler to Nathan Mensah, the cutter. Down the paint with the left hand. Nathan owns these guys. This is the best he's played in either half of any ball game this year.
Always great to hear Teddy Leitner on the Aztec Radio Network. Mensah had a game-high 17 points, and 22nd ranked San Diego State exercises its demons against Boise State. They beat the Broncos 72-52 and take hold of sole possession of first place in the Mountain West with a 9-2 conference record. Elsewhere in the Mountain West, Nevada, fresh off an upset win over San Diego State. Wolfpack stay perfect on their home floor in Reno, downing Air Force Friday night 72-52. Now, the Mountain West had 4 teams in the NCAA tournament last season. ESPN's Joe Lunardi had 4 teams from the conference in his latest bracketology on Friday, including both Nevada and San Diego State. The Mountain West has 5 teams in the top 40 of the NCAA net rankings and could be a 5-bid league this season for the first time in a decade. Well, tune into college basketball action today. 13th ranked Iowa State welcomes in defending national champ number 8 Kansas. Coverage begins at 11:30 a.m. Eastern on select ESPN radio stations. SportsCenter all night, ESPN Radio. Chris Sylvester with you. 8 days from the Super Bowl, the chatter has already begun around quarterbacks that could be on the move this offseason in the NFL. For Derek Carr and the Las Vegas Raiders, it's not a matter of if, but when. The Raiders have granted Derek Carr permission to speak with teams that have already agreed to the compensation Las Vegas is looking for in a potential trade for the quarterback, sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter on Friday. So who's got the leverage here, the quarterback or the team? ESPN NFL reporter Jeremy Fowler on Canty and Carlin.
He holds a lot of cards here because of that no trade clause where, if GM Dave Ziegler gets an offer that he likes, he has to bring it to Derek Carr and his agent, and they have to say it's okay. Where that's why I feel like the release is certainly on the table right now because they might just not be able to come to a sweet spot that both parties like. Derek needs the right team. It's got to be the right fit. He's not going to go to just any team. So, that's really why a lot has to happen here. This is a guy going out to the Pro Bowl field, even though he shouldn't get hurt in this event. If he does, that guaranteed money kicks in immediately. So I could even see a scenario where the Raiders are just like, hey, let's cut him now.
So Carr's got leverage, but where might the 4-time Pro Bowl quarterback be headed? ESPN radio host Q Myers on Freddie and Fitzsimmons.
He's a good quarterback. He's not a guy who's going to put
everyone on his shoulders and lead him to the promised land. Like, he needs things to be good around him, which is fine, right? I mean, look what Brock Purdy did in San Francisco with a good run game and a great defense, right? He won every game until he got banged up in that NFC Championship game. So I think Derek Carr could do some good things. San Francisco wouldn't be a bad spot for him either. He's a West Coast guy. Brock Purdy is banged up. He has a UCL tear, so he's going to be out at least 6 months. Trey Lance, you don't know what he has.
Sure.
You know, he's also coming off injury. Kyle Shanahan said that Jimmy G's not coming back, and Tom Brady just retired. So I kind of put San Francisco as like a dark horse where we're not really talking about them, but it could be a landing spot for him.
Carr, a California native, played his college football at Fresno State, got his NFL career started in the Bay Area before the Raiders left Oakland. But as it stands, the Niners have a pretty crowded quarterback room. That, of course, is until they find Jimmy Garoppolo, a new franchise to call home. ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky on SportsCenter.
I would say Jimmy Garoppolo going to the Carolina Panthers. I'm bullish on the Panthers. I was last year. They almost win the division in Week 17. There's a couple reasons why. Number one, this is a top 10 defense in Carolina. Very talented roster. Frank Reich, new head coach, takes over a football team that has a couple of perimeter players that are solid. DJ Moore leading that track. An offensive line that I think is going to trend to being a top 10 unit. 2 good running backs. So Jimmy Garoppolo goes to a very similar, at least foundational surrounding piece that he had in San Francisco.
Now, Jimmy G has been the center of trade rumors in previous off seasons, but so has Aaron Rodgers. And while the Packers haven't stated they want to move on from the 4-time most valuable player, there's some urgency to figure out what to do with Rodgers. ESPN football analyst Herm Edwards weighed in on Get Up.
We've watched this story for 3 years now. And I think it's getting to the point now, if you are the Green Bay Packers, you need to make a decision after the Super Bowl on where Aaron Rodgers is. Is he a part of your program? Is he not? And if so, you're probably going to trade him. They're not going to trade him to an AFC team or to an NFC team, excuse me. So that's going to probably be out of the mix. But I think we've watched this stormy romance long enough now. And I think if you're the Green Bay Packers, along with those players on that team, you're just tired.
Should the Packers decide to move Rodgers, he might not be the only MVP quarterback on the market. ESPN senior NFL writer Jeremy Fowler on Get Up.
If we're taking out the trade element, here's how I think this song and dance is going to go. They're going to franchise tag him. We're talking $45 million. But that gives them time to try to work out a long-term deal. But the gap in guaranteed money between what Jackson wants and what the team wants is huge. That's going to be really hard to get to. So we're looking at a one-year situation.
So might NFL teams get desperate for Lamar Jackson? Jason and Fitz on Fitz and Harry.
Your other choice right now, you're going to either overpay. This is where context matters. When we in 3, 4, 5 years talk about this year's draft, I think we're going to be talking about teams that gave up a king's ransom to move up. The question is it worth it? Well, now you got to ask yourself, man, am I going to pay, if it's going to cost me a couple of first rounders to move up to get one of the top 3 quarterbacks, or I can, so 2 first rounders.
A proven player at that too.
Yeah, or I can get a proven player for 3 first rounders. If I can get a former league MVP that's 26 years old, that has shown he can succeed in a pro style offense in college, by the way, that can be everything I need. That's also the type of guy that can easily lead a franchise. I can put him on billboards. I can sell tickets right now.
Well, interesting to see what may happen with Lamar Jackson. Hey, still ahead, more reaction from Kyrie Irving's Friday trade request. This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Greeny. Huge weekend in sports as we count it down to the quarterback carousel and to LeBron James breaking the greatest record in NBA history. We'll be the place to talk about it all week long. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you could pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-685-4718 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-685-4718. That's 800-685-4718. What do you have to lose? Call 800-685-4718. Again, 800-685-4718.
You can't miss a moment with Greeny.
If the Jets are meeting with Derek Carr and they've offered him a bunch of money, the Jets know they're not getting Rodgers. However, if you start hearing other teams are in it for Carr and the Jets are nowhere to be found, they're not making any overtures, I have been told by people whose opinions I value that is a signal that the Jets think they have a real shot at Aaron.
Greeny, weekday mornings at 10 a.m. on 98.7 ESPN.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, but Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver," unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
After redshirting his first year at Ohio State, Joe Burrow spent the next 2 years as JT Barrett's backup. With Dwayne Haskins on the roster, Burrow didn't see much playing time and decided to transfer. LSU head coach Ed Orgeron zeroed in on Burrow and landed him. In his second season at LSU, Burrow led the Tigers to a 15-0 record, a national championship, and arguably the best season ever by a college quarterback.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Teams that win college bowls have great recruits, and great recruiting starts with great conversations. That's why when you post a job for free, LinkedIn Jobs taps into a network of over 875 million professionals to find the right people for your role. LinkedIn Jobs helps you narrow down to only the most qualified candidates, which means you can start hiring the right people faster. Go to linkedin.com/sports to post your job for free. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Every victory over cancer is worth celebrating. We celebrate every life saved by donating to Save Another.
It may not save my life. It may save someone you love.
Because of all the donations, mine is one of the lives that's been saved.
Life is worth celebrating. That's why ESPN and the V Foundation will never give up. Please give. Learn more at v.org.
The biggest names, the biggest games. They're all right here. This is 1050's ESPN New York.
This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
SportsCenter all night. Glad you're with us. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. For a job you'll love, visit progressive.com/careers.
Half-hour headlines on SportsCenter all night.
Well, Alabama has touted Notre Dame's Tommy Rees as the next offensive coordinator of the Crimson Tide. Tempers flare resulting in 5 ejections between the Magic and Timberwolves. And the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving has requested a trade ahead of next Thursday's NBA trade deadline.
Breaking news, Kyrie Irving has demanded a trade from the Brooklyn Nets.
We saw this summer. He looked around and tried to find a trade. We couldn't find a trade.
How does Kevin Durant feel right now? The Brooklyn Nets are actually in a pretty good spot.
The Brooklyn Nets don't have to do anything. They can just ride this out like they did in the summer.
I really don't understand this, but we never understand what goes on with Kyrie Irving. And here we are again.
Well, less than a week before the NBA trade deadline, one of the game's biggest stars, Kyrie Irving, wants out of Brooklyn. The Nets, who didn't see this coming, now have a decision to make, and not a whole lot of time to make it. Brooklyn has to find a deal that makes sense or hold on to Irving and risk losing him this summer while getting nothing in return. ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst appeared on Fitz and Harry Friday to give his opinion on what the Nets might or might not do with Kyrie Irving.
Last year, they basically staked out a position that they would not trade Kevin Durant unless they were blown away with an offer, that they would not trade Kyrie Irving in a sign and trade unless they were very impressed with an offer. So high were their standards that they basically never advanced in talks for either player. And considering that this team, when it was together, played really well in December and that Durant is coming back here possibly before the All-Star break, I cannot see them doing anything but tripling and quadrupling down on maximizing this season. My initial feel here, without seeing how the league reacts to this news, is they will not grant this trade request and remind Kyrie that they will have his rights this summer and that he needs to remain a partner.
Oh, the Mavericks, Suns, and Lakers appear to be the most active on the Kyrie Irving front. Lakers at 25 and 28 this season have already been active on the trade market, acquiring Rui Hachimura from the Wizards. But would a LeBron-Kyrie reunion in Los Angeles make the Lakers title favorites? ESPN NBA analyst Kendrick Perkins on This Just In.
I think we have no choice but to make them the favorites, and especially how wide open the Western Conference is right now. The Memphis Grizzlies, they don't look good right now. The Pelicans has fell off like no limit. Sacramento Kings, they're new to this. I mean, they're doing their thing, but are they really going to represent the Western Conference? So when you look at it, like I said, it's not right now outside of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. It's not another duo that's playing better than Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And if you could get Kyrie Irving at the level that he's playing at right now, and you pad them up, and that's your big three, I mean, who is going to beat them? Seriously.
Well, the Lakers in action today at 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2 against the Pelicans. Now that it's Kyrie that wants out of Brooklyn, what might this mean for Kevin Durant, who requested a trade away from the Nets last summer? ESPN NBA analyst Tristan Thompson on NBA Today.
This is not just a Kyrie decision. I can guarantee you right now, Kyrie definitely spoke to, easy money sniper, Kevin Durant, and definitely had this discussion. And Kevin Durant, I can almost guarantee, probably gave his blessing on it, because you know what? Kevin Durant's probably next asking out. Because, listen, Kyrie bought in. He didn't want Steve Nash there in the first place. He didn't think he was a good enough coach for the team. Bought in, played well. Kevin Durant gets hurt. He's averaging 30 points per game, playing at a high level, playing like an all-star starter. Now he walks in, like I would have told Rich Paul to do, walk in there and ask for extension. And if they don't want to give an extension, we're out of here.
Now, if that were to happen at this point, I don't think it would come as a huge surprise. ESPN insider Nick Friedel on This Just In thinks a certain team out west should check in on KD's availability.
I know all this focus around Kyrie and the Lakers. If I'm Bob Myers and Joe Lacob, and I see that the Nets are starting to potentially think about, okay, how far down the line are we going? I'm making another call and seeing what's happening with Kevin Durant, because the Warriors have all kinds of different pieces that they could, in theory,
rebuild the Nets very quickly
very quickly. So there are a lot of different layers here, but that's what I would think about is you're starting to process what happens now.
Well, Golden State is 26 and 26, a season removed from winning a championship. Tune into NBA action tonight as the Warriors host the Mavs, presented by Indeed. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern on select ESPN radio stations. Well, back to the hardwood Friday night, Sixers and Spurs in San Antonio. Philadelphia, the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. Joel Embiid, an MVP candidate.
Tobias with it down low right to Joel. Embiid bangs into Pirtle, puts it up and good. Embiid right down the heart of the lane, veered to the left, and shot it with his right hand, and Pirtle got him with the body. Second foul on Pirtle, and Embiid going to the line for what could be a 3-point play.
97.5, the Fanatic had the call, 33 points, 10 rebounds for Joel Embiid. Sixers beat the Spurs 137-125. Philly picks up a game on Boston. The Sixers now just 2.5 games out of the top spot in the East. The Hornets and Pistons in Detroit, a couple rebuilding squads well out of contention. But this one would have a fun finish. Tied at 112 with less than 40 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. Why not give the ball to Saddiq Bey?
Jaden Ivey turning the corner, flips it, right corner, Saddiq Bey, 3 on the way, and he hits it. Well, we've seen Saddiq Bey do that before, and it's 115-112. Detroit up by 3. Saddiq Bey off the bench.
97.1 the ticket. That go-ahead tray would stand up as the Pistons beat the Hornets on Friday, 118-112. Raptors at the Rockets Friday night. Hey, Fred VanVleet's name has been thrown around in some trade rumors this time of year. And in Houston on Friday night, he may have boosted his value just a bit.
Oh, VanVleet wearing out the brakes and gets it to go. Well, you talk about the hesitation. He popped the clutch at the free throw line, and he says, keep that meter running. I got a chance for one more. Fred VanVleet steps back and says, take this with you. 83-69 Toronto.
49 points from the backcourt, Jonesy, and both guys are shooting north of 50%, so there's efficiency there as well.
TSN 1050 had the calls. Big night for VanVleet. Game high 32 points. Raptors beat the Rockets 117-111 on the road. Magic in Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves, and well, tempers would flare in the third quarter.
He's only a couple of feet away. Oh, Austin Rivers on the sideline. We've got a fight on the floor over by the Orlando bench. Boy, it is an absolute dog pile under the basket. Boy, guys are being held back. Austin Rivers got into it. There were punches thrown. Austin Rivers is down in the lane, flat on his back. He's now back on his feet, and he is hot. He is hot. Mo Bamba came off the bench, and he's going to be tossed out of this game because he was not on the floor. Mo Bamba's really hot here.
After review, the following players have been issued technical fouls and ejected from the game. Austin Rivers, Taurean Prince, McDaniels, Mo Bamba, and Suggs. 5 technical fouls.
Well, things got chippy, to say the least, in Minnesota on Friday. Again, those ejections, Austin Rivers, Jaden McDaniels, and Taurean Prince of the T-Wolves, Mo Bamba, Jalen Suggs, all ejected. As for the game, Orlando, without a couple pieces down the stretch, able to hold on and beat Minnesota on the road, 127-120, the final. Now, another night, another scuffle in the NBA. Friday, the NBA handed out punishment for a scuffle on Thursday night between the Grizzlies and Cavaliers.
And now we've got Mitchell pushing into Dylan Brooks after a hard foul. Mitchell and Brooks going at it. And now they got to be separated. Brooks tackled on the end line. Mitchell pushed to the stanchion. Security guards coming in, as well as assistant coaches from the Memphis Grizzlies, as things got heated in a hurry and are still heated.
Referee's still down on the floor. They're trying to keep him away. Coaches are in the middle trying to keep him. Taylor Jenkins is pushing back.
Watching the replay here.
They're going to have
it was
to take
a hard
a long
contest at the rim from Mobley. Brooks ended up on the
he
deck.
hit him. Dylan Brooks, when he hit the ground, whether it was intentional or not, reached up with his hand and watch him hit Donovan Mitchell right in the groin.
Well, Dylan Brooks, who, of course, was involved in that incident a couple weeks back inside Crypto.com Arena with Shannon Sharp and company, gets into another little kerfuffle on Thursday with Donovan Mitchell. They were both ejected from the game after the dust-up. Brooks was suspended one game for his role in the incident, while Mitchell was fined at $2,000. Well, Donovan Mitchell, at his press conference, was asked if he felt like Dylan Brooks kind of instigated all of that on purpose. Here's what the Cleveland Cavaliers star shooting guard had to say about the dust-up.
Yeah, for sure. That's just who he is. You know, we've seen it a bunch in this league with him. Him and I have had our personal battles for years. Quite frankly, I've been busting his ass for years. Playoffs, regular season. You know, the one game he does a high job with me today. Decide to do something like that, and you know, there's no place in that in the game. And, you know, you got to protect yourself at the end of the day. But this has been going for years. With me, with other guys in the league, and you all see it. You know, it's not something that this isn't new. And you know, tonight was just the end of it, but it's tough when you can't guard somebody, you can't do something to somebody. You never resort to that. And that's what he's done to a lot of players. You know, I off the top of my head, things like Damon and Steph, you know, this is one of those things. That's what you resort to, and that's cool. But I'm glad my guys held it down tonight, and you know, had my back. You know, throughout the whole thing.
Again, the discipline came down from the NBA on this Friday. Dylan Brooks suspended one game. Donovan Mitchell fined at $20,000. Cavs and Grizzlies will not play each other again this regular season and would only match up again if both advanced on to the NBA Finals. Well, could happen. Still to come, Friday was 2/3/23, so it's only fitting that many dubbed it Michael Jordan Day. Plus, we'll get you Friday's top sounds around the sports world. This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.
Coming up Monday, with the NBA trade deadline around the corner, I'll tell you which team needs to make a move if they want to be considered serious contenders. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, E2, and ESPNU.
More SportsCenter All Night. Next.
The Michael Kay Show is on.
The Knicks are built to frustrate. They got to be better than that, man. And I don't think they can be. They are what their record says they are. They're not a great team. They will not beat any team in a best-of-7 series. Any team that's going to make the playoffs. I just can't see it. They don't have the dominant force that's going to take over a game. So I don't know what to make of the Knicks other than that they frustrate you.
Don't miss the Michael Kay Show. Weekdays at 3 on 98.7 ESPN.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-351-4242. 800-351-4242. 800-351-4242.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T.
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a
a difference for you? Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom. Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves? Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text Sizzle to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text SIZZLE to 42424. That's Sizzle to 42424.
Yo, Pablo Torre here, host of the ESPN Daily Podcast. When you want to go beyond your feed, when you want to get inside the score, when you want to get behind the highlight, there's ESPN Daily. Go deeper into the stories of the moment. Get the exclusive access and insider perspective that only ESPN can give you. ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Pablo Torre. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Don't miss the #1 rated afternoon drive show in New York. It's the Michael K. Show. And it's every weekday at 2:55 on 98.7 ESPN.
This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
SportsCenter all night, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. Many ways to listen. Friday was February 3rd, 2023. And if you were to write it down on a piece of paper, you'd probably write it down as 2-3-23. So to celebrate 2-3-23, we called it Michael Jordan Day.
No one lives forever, but a number can. Make no mistake, the NBA is more athletic and more talented than it's ever been. But watch the tape of Michael Jordan in that number 23 jersey gliding through the air or setting himself up for that picture-perfect fadeaway. And one thing is apparent. We still haven't seen anything quite like that.
Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win! We win!
Truth is, 23 entered the league when numbers like 32, 33, and 11 dominated. And yes, 23 never beat Boston in a series. They swept them in 1986. But in the series, 23 nearly averaged 45. Those bad boys in Detroit implemented the Jordan rules. But all rules are meant to be broken, right? And for his first title, 23 closed the curtains on the act formerly known as Showtime. No number defines a decade quite like what 23 did in the 90s. This was the explosion of pop culture's irreplaceable bond with sports. At the very center was that number and those shoes. The game expanded worldwide, and there was 23, basketball heaven and hell in one body as its conductor.
Did you see that watch? Michael indicated he can't believe it.
Call 23 a symbol of dominance. I mean, he was the best player on 2 different three-peats. Or pettiness, because no one drew motivation from a perceived slight like 23. Even when he was no longer Air Jordan and more like ground shipping Jordan, this never left 23. Above all, 23 represents a maniacal competitive drive few people ever to live have carried. It didn't make 23 a ton of friends, but that's fine. 23 got more pleasure out of torturing his enemies anyway.
Oh, what a move by Jordan! It counts! He did it! Michael shakes the finger!
Believe it or not, 23 is about to turn 60 later this month. And if there is some truth behind the phrase numbers never lie, then the honesty in that number 23 is one thing above all: eternal.
Well, what a start the month of February is off to. We had Groundhog Day on the 2nd, Michael Jordan Day on the 3rd. We can only hope come February 4th next year, 2424, and we can find a way to call it Kobe Bryant Day. Maybe we'll start a campaign to make that happen. Hey, here's Friday's Top Sounds with Kevin Winter.
Number 5.
Chris, on this Friday night, all the top plays come from the hardwood, 4 from the association, 1 from the college ranks. We start at number 5, as you heard Big Voice Guy say. And we go to the Toronto Raptors continuing their road trip on the road in Houston. Fred VanVleet, and have yourself a night. The call from Paul Jones on TSN 1050.
Well, VanVleet wearing out the brakes and gets it to go. Well, you talk about the hesitation. He popped the clutch at the free throw line, and he says, keep that meter running. I got a chance for one more.
Number 4.
Chris, our one trip to the hardwood has San Diego State at the buzzer to open up a huge first half lead. The call from Aztec Radio.
9 seconds. Lamont. 6, 5, 4. Into the corner. Underneath. Nathan puts it up. Got it. Got it. With 0-0-0. Oh, what a play. What a pass by Lamont Butler to Nathan Menser, the cutter. Down the paint. With the left hand, Nathan owns these guys. This is the best he's played in either half of any ball game this year.
Number 3.
Chris, the Phoenix Suns began an East Coast trip. It starts a 5-game road trip. Last time we saw them, they didn't perform well against the Atlanta Hawks a couple of nights ago. On Friday night in Boston, they were just fine. And so is DeAndre Ayton. The call from Arizona Sports, 98.7 FM.
Here's Paul splitting the defense. Gets into the lane. The runner, no good. But DeAndre Ayton there to jam it home on the putback. And the Suns take an 11-point lead with 1:10 to go. DA with 14 on the night. None louder than that, too.
Number 2.
Chris, the Detroit Pistons one of these days may be good. Maybe. I don't know. They have a lot of good young talent, and Sadiq Bey is one of them. The call from 97.1 The Ticket.
Jaden Ivey turning the corner, flips it, right corner, Sadiq Bey, 3 on the way, and he hits it. Well, we've seen Sadiq Bey do that before, and it's 115 to 112. Detroit up by 3. Sadiq Bey off the bench.
Number 1.
And Chris, in a game that was filled or highlighted by a little bit of a dust-up, shall we call it, not full-blown fisticuffs, Cole Anthony was magical for the Orlando Magic as they go into Minnesota and probably win a fight and win a basketball game, old New York Knicks style. The call from FM 96.9 The Game. And Suggs stole it. Now Suggs, the lob to Cole Anthony, and the finish. Cole had to grab it, he cocked it, and he smashed it home. Ooh, that was hot. 32-27, Magic within 5. Final minute still of the first. Check Sports Center later for that one.
Well, a little Kevin Winter featuring Migos in the backdrop on Friday's Top Sounds. So Saturday should bring even more top sounds with a lot of NBA and a dandy of a college hoops slate. Well, this is our first weekend without meaningful NFL football since the opening days of September. But the Super Bowl is near. A week from Sunday, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles will square off in Super Bowl 57 from State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. At the moment, Philadelphia, a 1.5-point favorite. Former Eagles wide receiver Deshaun Jackson jumped on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max to give his Super Bowl 57 prediction.
My gut, man, I just feel like the Eagles are a better team, man, and it's a lot of history involved in this game. Even though Andy Reid is on the other side, I just always look at Andy Reid as the Philadelphia Eagles, so I know it's going to be a very personal game for him. And it's going to get real, man. I think it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think, just with the, the experience that Andy has and Patrick Mahomes. And, this Jaden's first time really around this, this type of big-time football. So I'm rolling with the Eagles, though, man. I'm going to roll with Eagles, man.
No surprise to see Deshaun Jackson rolling with his former franchise, although a little dicey to pick against his former head coach in Philly for many years in Andy Reid. Plenty of storylines. You got the Kelsey brothers going up against one another. 2 of the top MVP candidates, Mahomes, Hurts. Should be a terrific Super Bowl 57. Still to come, the big news off the floor in the NBA Friday. It's Kyrie Irving. He wants out of Brooklyn. Thanks for being with us on Sports Center All Night, ESPN Radio.
Coming up Monday, what's going to be the biggest X factor in Super Bowl 57? I'll give you my answer on Monday. Keyshawn, J. Will, and we never can forget Max, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU.
The top headlines are next on SportsCenter All Night. Do you feel like you're